Hi, welcome to this episode of An Audit Minion Explores. I just got done reading The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz. Admittedly, the entire reason I read this book was because there was a conspiracy theory floating around for a while back early on in 2020 that Dean Koontz had accidentally predicted the COVID-19 pandemic. The novel is not at all about what I thought it was going to be. So I was tiny bit disappointed, but the story ended up being so good that I didn't really care at the end. The story follows this woman named Christina, and she lost her son in a bus accident, in a Young Rangers bus accident a year earlier. She's now a show producer in Vegas. And the night before her show was supposed to go live in this big event, she starts experiencing these weird hauntings in her house. Things in her son's room that she still hasn't cleared out move, and it gets really cold, and she finds writing on his chalkboard that says "not dead," and she's like, "What's going on?" And figures out eventually that he is somehow managing to communicate with her telepathically. And she, at a party, meets this lawyer who she convinces somehow to side with her on this case, and they decide to have her son Danny's remains exhumed, and suddenly end up running for their lives. There are secret operatives who are like trying to kill them, and the whole thing leads them to like this secret military base in the Sierra Nevadas. I'm not gonna give away how it ends because I want you to read the book. It was so good. Well, I did not expect to like it as much as I did, especially once I realized that it wasn't just going to be a divulging of all these, conspiracy theories. It was not at all that. So I pulled up this article from right before coronavirus. This is February of 2020 from Fox News. So take that how you will. But the headline is, "A Dean Koontz book from 1981 predicted coronavirus in a bizarre coincidence." Author Dean Koontz eerily predicted the coronavirus outbreak in his 1981 thriller, The Eyes of Darkness. The fictional novel tells the story of a Chinese military lab that creates a new virus to potentially use as a biological weapon during wartime. The lab is ironically located in Wuhan, China, and the made-up virus is called Wuhan 400, which... the connection there being, of course, that coronavirus originated in Wuhan, China, before it went worldwide. So there are similarities to coronavirus with this virus, the Wuhan 400. People were like, oh my goodness, there are parallels. And so this whole conspiracy theory started that Dean Koontz had actually predicted COVID-19. And supposedly, somewhere in the book, it was supposed to say something like, in the year 2020, there was a breakout of the Wuhan 400, and it killed a bunch of people, and it was supposed to predict all this. And I've seen this quote, but this quote, if it exists or wherever it came from, was not in the audiobook, so I don't know if they edited it out because of the conspiracy theory. I don't know if the conspiracy theory made it up. I don't know if it was a fan site thing. I don't know where this supposedly was. I know I've seen it floating around in like a meme on Facebook or something, but I haven't actually seen where it comes from in the book, so I'm kind of curious about where that came from. Devil's advocate on the other side of the spectrum was, there are military bases that do stuff like this all over the world. They were in, at the tail end of the Cold War, so it was like, of course, stuff like this would be going on, and the tactics would be very subverted in secret like this. So it's not entirely beyond the realms of possibility that China would develop a biological warfare weapon for warfare like this, and it wasn't entirely impossible that it would come out of Wuhan, China. Other dissenters of the theory stated that the original book, first draft of the book, had the virus coming out of a smaller town in Russia, and then was later changed to Wuhan, China, because of the changing times and whatever. My thought on that is, but still he picked Wuhan, China, of all the places in the world. Looking back on it, I don't think the book itself actually predicts COVID-19, but I do see the parallels, and that was just really interesting. The book itself is not at all about the virus. The virus comes into it very, very much later in the book, and the book itself centers more on the government conspiracy and the cover-up and the inhumane treatment of the test subjects, which I will not spoil for you because you need to go read the book like yesterday. It is phenomenal. I did not expect to like the book as much as I did. It's really, really good if you're into thrillers or any sort of kind of, you know, government espionage, government conspiracy. It was a very good book. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. Regardless of whether or not you believe this conspiracy theory that Dean Koontz predicted the COVID-19 pandemic, I would still give the book a try. Don't really go into the book expecting it to divulge every single secret about the coronavirus and how it's all going to play out, because that's not the focus of the book. It just happens to include this coincidental parallel to the COVID-19 pandemic that we're seeing now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've read the book, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't read the book, go do that, and then tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, have a good night.